Yeah, welcome to my class. Today in this class, I am going to explain how to convert context-free language into context-free grammar. Okay, so context-free, what do you mean by grammar? So grammar is set of rules. So in context, especially in context-free grammar, the grammar syntax is like alpha implies beta. Alpha implies beta. At alpha side, there should be single non-terminal symbol, means capital letter. Single non-terminal should be there at left side, and right side the non-terminals and terminals combination. Non-terminals and terminal combination should be there. So NT. So either non-terminals or terminals or only non-terminals or only terminals, means N union T. It is better write N union T whole star. Okay, na? So left side only one non-terminal should be there in the production rule. Starting symbol side, each and every rule should contain either terminals or non-terminals, or terminals and non-terminal combination should be there. So in this way, we can construct context-free grammar. Okay, I'll show you with this particular example. Suppose if language is containing word followed by word reverse. Suppose here the word is using A and B combinations. Okay, na? A and B whole star. Suppose word is epsilon. If word is epsilon, then word reverse is also epsilon. Means epsilon total is epsilon. Okay, na? Suppose if word is A, if double E is A, if double E is A, then W reverse is also A. If double E is B, then W reverse is also B. Okay, na? So this is if you take a single symbol at a W. Suppose if you take two symbols combination, if double E is AB, if double E is AB, then what is double E reverse? BA. AB reverse is BA. So suppose if double E is ABB, if double E is ABB, what is double E reverse? BBA. W reverse is BBA. Okay, na? Reverse is ABB, reverse is BBA. So we should construct a context-free grammar in such a way that if we expand that particular grammar, or if we recursively substitute the grammar-related symbols with the production rules, you should get W and WR is the result. Okay. Suppose if you observe this, if left side A is there, in WR side A should be there. If W is containing B, WR should contain B. If W is containing first symbol is A, then last symbol should be A. If second symbol is B, last but one symbol is B. So like this, okay? If first symbol is A, then last symbol is A. If second symbol is B, last but one symbol is B. If third symbol from left is B, then third symbol from right should be B. Okay, na? If A is there, then A should be there. So we should construct this grammar rules in recursive way. If we expand it, then you should get this particular format. Okay, now I will show you how to write a grammar rule. Suppose if you start with starting symbol as S, you can start with any capital letter. Okay, now if you starting symbol is S. Okay, na? S implies, we have already seen in previous examples. Suppose if left side symbol is A, then right side symbol should be A. If left side symbol is B, then the right side symbol should be also B. If first symbol is A, then last symbol in the WR should be A. So that means we should get that particular format in this way. Okay, na? Either ASA. Okay, na? If we repeatedly expand it, yes. If we replace S with ASA, then again we get AAA or AAA at right side like this. Okay, na? Suppose S is suppose if you were say string is containing B's, then BSB, because if second symbol is B or first symbol is B, the last symbol should be B. Because if you treat it as a first production rule, then first symbol and last symbol, these two become first symbol and last symbol. Then you can expand S as either ASC or BSB. Then what is ARB whole star? ARB whole star is null also we consider. We have already seen. Suppose if double is null, double star is also null. Then finally end S with null. Finally end S with null. Is it clear? So this is the CFG, context-free grammar for WWR. You can take any string W and WR, just by repeatedly substituting or using these production rules, we can get that particular one. Okay, na? So these three are context-free grammar rules for extracting WWR. Okay, na? If W first symbol is A, the last symbol should be A. Suppose if you use this particular production as first production, then this A becomes first A, this A becomes last A. If you use S, if you replace S with B as B, then B becoming second B, and this B becomes second B from the end. Okay, na? So that's why we say that these production rules are. But finally, once the sufficient number of characters in W and WR we get, then finally substitute S with epsilon. Suppose if we take same example, suppose A B B. Suppose if we take string as A B B, what is the reverse? BBA. Reverse is BBA. Okay, na? Reverse is BBA. So epsilon is also there. That's why there is no separator here. Then what is the first symbol and last symbol? First symbol and last symbol is A. So that's why start our production with, we can prove this by drawing either tree structure format, or we can show it in production format. I will show you in production format. S implies, what is the first production required? The production which contains symbols as A. Then use first production rule, because both the productions are starting with starting symbol S. ASA. Okay, na? ASA. Then next, what is the second symbol? Second symbol is B. Last but one symbol is also B. So that's why replace this S with BSB. Replace this S with BSB. Replace this S with BSB. Anyway, last A is there. Then continue that last A. Okay, na? Then what about string remaining symbols? Again B and B. Okay, na? Again replace S with BSB. So A, B, again replace this S with BSB. Replace this S with BSB. Okay, na? Anyway, BA is also there at the end. B, A. Now you got ABB, BAA. This is A. ABB, BAA we got. ABB, BAA we got. Then finally replace this S with epsilon, because we got the required information. Finally we replace this S with epsilon. Then finally we get answer as the required given input. So our target is extracting that input from the constructed grammar. ABB, BBA we got. ABB, BBA we got. Clear? So in this fashion, we can construct context-free grammar from the language. So based on the input strings, we can construct context-free grammar from the language, and just by taking another input, we can show whether these grammar rules are producing answer input string or not. Okay, na? So this is the context-free grammar for this context-free language. And this is the proof. By taking one example, we can prove that this context-free language is producing answer as input string. Okay, na? Just like this, we can cross verify. And I can also show two more examples here. Okay, na? This is one example. And similar way, another example is there. Of course, these production rules are useful. I will write once again. Similar way, we can write very slightly change the language. Okay, na? Suppose if we change the language as WCWR. I'll arrange it. WC language is W. In the last case, WWR is there. Here W word and word reverse are separated by C. Word and word reverse are separated by C. Very simple. Suppose if the word and word reverse are epsilon, the minimum C should be there. But earlier, if epsilon is W and epsilon is WR, reverse is WR, nothing is there. But here string C should be there. Only one difference is there in production rules with WWR and WCWR is, instead of taking epsilon, just you should take C. So S implies ASA, S implies BSB. Only one change is there. That change is just take instead of the last production with epsilon, just take S as C. So this is with the slight modification, we get the context-free grammar of WCWR. Just WWR related production with a slight modification, we get WCWR context-free grammar. So this is the context-free grammar for WCWR. We can also cross-check whether we get WCWR related format or not. Suppose if we take AB, okay, now W is AB. Anyway, C is there as separator. What is WR? BA. WR is BA. Okay, na? So first symbol and last symbol are here. That's why we should start with X. We should start with this production S as ASA. Start with first production because both are starting with starting symbol S. Either you can start with this or start with this, but based on input. Suppose input is starting with B, then you should start the expansion or extraction with the S as BSB. But here starting symbol is A. Then start with S implies ASA. Start with S implies ASA. What is the next symbol? Next symbol is B. Okay, the last but one symbol is also B. Then replace this S with BSB. Replace this S with BSB. Replace that S with BSB. Okay, na? Anyway, A is there. Yeah. So in input to AB is there and BA is there. AB we got and BA also we got. Okay, na? Then finally, the required thing has extracted. WWR is extracted. So that's why finally replace S with C. Finally replace S with C because even W and WR are epsilon. We must take S as not epsilon C because minimum C should be there. Even W and WR are in epsilon, then C should be there in the language. Okay, na? So finally we get A, B, C, B, A. A, B, C, B, A. Okay, na? AB is W, then BA is WR, and this BA and AB and BA are separated by using C. So in this way, we can show whether the input can be extracted from this grammar or not, and based on the language, we can construct context-free grammar. I'll show you one more example. Instead of giving like this, but sometimes we may get language in terms of A's and B's or zeros and ones. Zeros and ones. Then I'll write the grammar first. I'll write the language first. Okay. Suppose this language is very simple. A power n. Language is A power n, B power n, such that n is greater than or equal to 0, then we get one particular grammar. Greater than, I'll show you greater than 0. First, I will show you greater than 0, how we can construct a grammar. How we can construct a grammar for A greater than 0, n greater than 0. Then I'll show you the proof also with one particular input. Okay, na? Suppose n greater than 0 means n should be at least 1. If n is 1, then we get AB. Okay, na? As like previous one, WWR, if W is containing A, WR should also contain A. But here, reverse. If first symbol is A, then second symbol is B. Then first symbol is A, then opposite symbol should be B. Suppose n equal to 2. N equal to 2 means A square means 2 A's. 2 A's, then 2 B's. 2 A's, then 2 B's. See, the respective locations, first symbol and last symbol are opposite. Next symbol and next symbol from the last is opposite. So instead of taking S implies ASA, here we should take S implies ASB. Not only as I told you already, you can take any capital letter because non-terminal we should take non-terminal at left side part and right side for recursive purpose, means repetition purpose, we should take the same non-terminal in between characters or after terminal symbols or between terminal symbols. Okay, na? If we like this, if we expand, we get equal number of A's followed by equal number of B's. Equal number of A's followed by equal number of B's we get. So if A is there, then opposite symbol should be there at last. The second symbol is A, then last but one symbol is B. If third symbol is A, from last, the third symbol should be B. So means opposite symbols. Unlike WWR, here we are getting opposite symbols. Then very simple, we can easily write grammar, that too n greater than 0. At least one AB should be there. Okay, na? So S implies opposite symbol. If A is there, then opposite B should be there. Opposite B should be there. Then recursively we can apply any number of times. If we write one more time, if you substitute S as A as B, then we get 2A's here, 2B's here. 2A's here, 2B's here. Then what is the final one? Because n is greater than 0, at least one time we should take A power n, B power n. This means AB. At least one time we should take AB. Okay, na? Suppose only one AB is there. There is a direct production. We can directly take S implies AB. Suppose 2A's followed by 2B's. 2A's followed by 2B's. Then we should start with S as S implies S as S implies A as B. We can start with S as S implies A as B. S implies A as B. Only 2A's and 2B's are required. Only 2A's and 2B's are required. So that's why finally replace this S with AB. If we replace S with AB, then 2A's we get and 2B's we get. So like this, any number of A's, any number of B's are coming in this. Just repeatedly or recursively use S as A as B. Required number of times. You replace S with A as B required number of times. And finally replace S with AB. For getting sufficient number of A's. Suppose number of A's are 4 and number of B's are 4. Means equal number of A's and equal number of B's. Meaning is equal number of A's because power is same. So if you repeat n as 3 times, then we get 3 A's and 3 B's. Means equal number of A's and equal number of B's. Suppose if 4 A's and 4 B's are there, then use A as B 3 times and finally replace S with AB finally. So just repeat A as B substitution n minus 1 times. But for nth time, simply replace that particular S with AB. Then we get n number of A's at left side and n number of B's at right side. Okay, n number of B's at right side. Okay, so this is at n greater than 0. N greater than 0 means at least one AB should be there. One AB should be there. If only one AB is there, then directly we can take this production S implies AB. If two ABs are there, first take S implies AB, A as B and replace this S with AB. If 3 A's, 3 B's are there, then use this S implies A as B 2 times. First take S implies A as B and replace this S with A as B again and finally replace S with AB. Like this we get 3 A's followed by 3 B's. So this is the case if n greater than 0. N greater than 0. Suppose if n greater than or equal to 0 with slight modification, nothing extra, with slight modification in grammar, we can get it. We can get it. Suppose if n is greater than r equal to 0. R equal to 0 means no repetition also valid. No repetition also valid means epsilon. Even epsilon is also valid. Or 1A followed by 1B is valid. Okay, na? 2 is followed by 2B's is legal. Like this, any number of A's followed by any number of B's is legal. Any number of A's means epsilon also. Okay, na? So first production is as it is. S implies A as B. S implies A as B because opposite symbols are there. A is there, then B is there. If first symbol is A, then last symbol is B. Unlike previous WWR. Then what is S now? At S equal to 0, epsilon should be the answer. S implies 0, epsilon should be the answer. But earlier, n greater than 0 means if n equal to 1, then answer is AB. N equal to 2 means use this A as B one time and substitute S with AB. But here, if here n greater than or equal to 0 means if n equal to 0, no A, no B should appear, then directly take S implies epsilon. S implies epsilon. If one AB is there, only AB is there, then take this S implies A as B one time. S implies A as B one time. S implies A as B one time. And substitute, replace S with epsilon. Because epsilon is also there. Replace S with epsilon. Then finally we get AB. Okay, na? Any number of A's and any number of B's are required. Suppose if 2 A's and 2 B's are there. 2 A's followed by 2 B's are there. Then use B as B 2 times. First take S implies A as B. Again replace S with A as B. Then we got 2 A's and 2 B's. Finally replace S with epsilon. So based on required number of A's, you are supposed to repeat S implies A as B. S substitution of A as B those number of times. But earlier case, we already have S implies A B. So that's why repeat A as B substitution n minus 1 times and finally replace S with A B. But here S implies epsilon is there. So whatever the number of A's that are following number of B's, we need to take ASB substitution those number of times and finally replace S with AB. So in this way, just based on grammar, just based on language, first write some inputs. Whatever the inputs you can get, first write those inputs, and based on that start writing grammar. Okay, na? Here in this expansion, opposite symbols are there. That's why we took opposite symbols for the recursive symbol. Okay, na? So we can use this based on number of A's followed by number of B's. After that, we can simply finally substitute S with epsilon. Once you get sufficient number of A's and means equal number of A's and equal number of B's with the required count, finally replace S with epsilon. But if n is greater than 0, we already seen. So first to get n minus 1 number of A's and n minus 1 number of B's here, and finally replace S with AB. Then we get n number of A's and n number of B's. I told you already, if 4 A's and 4 B's are required, then repeat S implies ASB 3 times. Then we get 3 A's and 3 B's. In between, we get S. Then finally replace that S with AB. Then we get 4 A's followed by 4 B's. Here, we need to get 4 A's followed by 4 B's in the expansion. After that, replace S with epsilon because condition is n greater than or equal to 0. So epsilon is also valid. So that's why S implies epsilon is also valid here. Okay, na? S implies ASB is anyway the common for n greater than or equal to 0, n greater than 0. But in n greater than 0, S implies AB is the valid production, second production. But in n greater than or equal to 0, S implies epsilon is the valid production. Because at equal to 0, we should get epsilon as the input string. Okay, na? So in this way, we can show any input, any language. For any language, we can construct the equivalent context-free grammar, and we can take any respect to input, and we can show that particular input proof like this. They start with the respect to grammar. Okay, in WWR we got 2 production rules. Here we get only one production rule with this, and another production rule is either AB or epsilon. In WWR we got ASC or BSB. Here we got only ASB. Just repeat that particular ASB substitution, S with ASB substitution required number of times. And finally, substitute S with either AB or epsilon. So in this way, we can construct context-free grammar for the given any context-free language, but we should identify the logic, means expand that particular language with some inputs, and based on the inputs growing or growth or syntax, just frame the grammar rules. I hope you understood this concept. Okay, so thank you for watching my